All right, Coach, fall ball this year already probably going better than fall ball last year, I'd imagine, in that you're getting to do it. How much better is that for you guys this time around?
Much better to get to know the freshmen and some of the returning players, see what they've done over the summer. It's always great to see that this time of year as opposed to skipping it.
You had your first scrimmages this past Sunday down at Binghamton. How'd that go, and what was the first look at the team like?
Well, it went pretty well. We were a little skeptical about scrimmaging after only 2 weeks of practice, but it really showed some things on the field, and what some of the returning players did was expected. How some guys have stepped up, and or wherever they left off, they've come back and done a nice job with it. And to see some of the freshmen get out there, it's great that now when freshmen can get in scrimmages, and it doesn't count as a year of eligibility in the fall. So it gives us an extra look at what they can do against other teams.
You'll be back on the field in the Dome for the first time this Saturday. What's the next step here in your progress here this fall?
Well, we'll get an inter-squad scrimmage and see how the guys compete against one another. And it's always great to see the alumni come back and play. It's great to see everybody. And then with the 83 team being honored, that'll just add a little bit more excitement to the weekend.
Score was kept on Sunday, right? Do you remember the scores? Was it winners, losers?
Not too much because of how we mix people up. We got off to a good start against Marist with a lot of the returning players, and I think Marist scored a few goals in the third quarter against all our new guys. But what was good to see with the younger guys out there is they outscored them in the fourth quarter. So after they worked the kinks out, got more comfortable in the game situation. We're also playing with new rules with the shot clock, so that's an adjustment.
And I wanted to ask you about that. I haven't had a chance to talk to you since it was implemented, but I know you were a big fan, so I'm assuming you were loving it. But what's your initial reaction to playing with it and then playing this weekend with it?
Well, I think that the fans are going to like it. I think the players are going to like it. I think the fact that you've got to attempt to shoot within a certain period of time. I think it takes a lot off the officials. I think that was one of the things the last couple of years. The officials were to interpret when the shot clock would go on, and it was 30 seconds. Now you've got 80 seconds from time of possession to either clear the ball, or you've got 80 seconds if you win a face-off, and you can be on offense right away. So we're adjusting to that, but it's definitely a faster game, and especially for those who like to hold the ball for 2, 3, 4 minutes at a time.
Is there anything that's hard about it, or a big adjustment that even if you like the rule?
For me, I think the biggest adjustment is more off of a face-off, so that if you win a face-off and you're being pressured, and you may have to throw the ball back to your goaltender or one of the close defensemen. It takes 20 seconds will be a little bit quick because the 20 seconds starts as soon as you pick the ball up.
Okay.
So if you're running around with the ball for 5 seconds or 6 seconds, and now you've got to throw it back to your goalie, and the face-off guy has to substitute off, and the long stick has to substitute off, how long will that take? And now you may only have 7, 8, 9 seconds to clear the ball. So you really got to hustle and get the ball over the midline.
Were there any violations that you recall in the scrimmage this Sunday?
I think there were a couple.
On your part?
No, not really. I think that there were. We've been fortunate this fall where the shot clock has gotten down to 10 seconds, 8 seconds, and a few times we're able to score with 1 or 2 seconds to go on it. But it could go the other way depending on what the other team's doing.
But you definitely thought it was time. Obviously, there was no doubt that this had to come and move the sport forward.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, when I was on the rules committee, we put it in. And they ended up taking it out because of no one had shot clocks, and they were looking for ways to get it out. Yes, yeah.
How long ago was that?
So it got revoked. That's a great question. Probably 20 years ago.
Oh, so it's been popping around for decades.
Yes, yeah. I think the biggest problem then was Dom Starja, who was a coach at Virginia, and myself, coach at Syracuse. So the two teams that were playing the fastest in the country were coaches were on the committee to put the shot clock in. So it was. We knew walking out of that meeting after we voted for it that a lot of teams might not like it.
Simply because they had no clocks, that was their excuse, or?
Yeah, then it was a cost issue, and there weren't a lot of things in place. I think it was the fact that more people didn't want it than wanted it.
Looking at fall ball so far and playing the first scrimmage, but also just seeing through practice, is there anybody on the team that really didn't have a huge impact last year that you've seen step up in a big way so far?
Again, it's only been 2 weeks of practice. So, I think some guys have gotten better. We're trying to give some of the upperclassmen an opportunity that they haven't had as much of in the past. And but I don't think anybody's taken over. We have a goalie situation. We graduated a goalie and one attackman. Everybody else is returning, so a lot of things are in place. So I think a big thing this fall would be to come out and figure out who our goaltender is going to be and adjust to the new rules.